As I wait for Hallie to finish cooking my breakfast, my phone vibrates. My heart stops for a moment. In the best case scenario, it's one of my friends or Mom. But the worst case scenario, I take a deep breath and bring the screen to my face. Almost immediately, I breathe a sigh of relief. It's just good to know, huh? I enter my pen and read her message. Hey, I remembered who said Hallie was staying over. How'd it go? To be completely honest, I forgot I even mentioned it to her in the call home. Feeling relaxed again, I respond. Hey, yeah, last night went pretty well. It doesn't take her long to text again. But her dad wasn't too happy about it, though. And my relaxation ends. I sigh. He's been annoyed with me since we started dating. Hell, even long before we even met, he's always been annoyed with me. There I go being vague and half-true about what's happening. I swear that's gonna be the death of me. It takes God to know how little longer than usual to text back. I'm not gonna pressure Oo, but if Oo wanna talk about it, Oo know where to find me. Once again, I sigh and think about how to respond. Just let her help, Monica. You can trust her. Before I can reply, I jump as Hallie calls me into the kitchen.
It's ready, hon.
Coming. I go to type out a reply, but my mind goes blank. After a moment, I put my phone on the sofa and head into the kitchen.
As I finish laying out Monica's eggs, I take a moment to survey my work. I have not poached eggs for a good while now, so I'm genuinely surprised that I didn't botch it.
Something smells nice.
Monica enters the room and her face is brimmed with excitement. Ah, so I didn't delude myself after all. I chuckle as I move the plate from the counter and onto the table.
Hallie, I get you're only joking. But could you please stop degrading yourself every 5 minutes?
My hands temporarily freeze before I rest them on the table. Degrading myself? I know I can be a little hard on myself sometimes, but ouch. Is it really that bad?
Maybe degrading was too strong a word to use.
Geez, you think?
It just kinda saddens me whenever I hear you putting yourself down. Hear putting yourself down. Even before we really knew each other like we do now.
I breathe in as I think over what she just said. I mean, I can try to do it less if that'd help. Like, I can't promise anything, but I'll at least try.
That's all I'm asking you to do.
She smiles gently as she moves to sit at the table. It doesn't take her too long to start eating, and by the look of it, Monica seems to be enjoying herself.
These are so good. If you don't mind me asking, how often do you cook? Or how often do you cook?
If I'm gonna be honest, not too often. Monica seems shocked. Like, whenever I do, it's usually just either frozen foods, microwave meals, and instant ramen. But if you genuinely like my cooking, I might have to do it more. Also, those would be frozen foods, microwave meals, or instant ramen. Or would it? Wait, like, whenever I do, it's usually just... Yeah, if you're gonna use either, you would have to use or, because and an or and an either don't go together. Blah!
Well, I'd certainly like to see it.
Oh, I click out. Blah! Monica continues eating, and in no time at all, she eventually finishes up. I care of her plate. I care of her plate? What? Rinsing it off and leaving it to soak in the sink. Take care of her plate, maybe? I then gently take Monica by the hand and lead her upstairs. I flick the light on and lead Monica in. Moni looks around for a moment. I chuckle slightly. Yeah, I know it doesn't look like much.
No, Hallie, you don't have to apologize. For me, it's not how much you have that defines the quality of the work. It's what you do with it.
I was just gonna say that.
Glad we're on the same page.
I would say if I get lucky one day, I'd love to get some more stuff. But I'd say I already got really lucky. I, without thinking, wink at Moni, causing her to blush. I swear, with the amount of times either of us have blushed, we must have extra blood deposits just for our cheeks.
Again, I'd usually roll my eyes at how cheesy that was. But it's kinda adorable when it comes from you. Like, it's still cheesy, don't get me wrong. But all because something seems cheesy doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it.
Anyways, on to the music now. I ended up giving Monica a rather abridged rundown of how the software works. I did have to pause a few times to check if I was making sense. Thankfully, I seemed to do so. Either that or Monica's being overly kind. After my tutorial, I pull out the drawer underneath the computer monitor. I run my fingers across the plastic keys and then turn to face Monica. I remember you mentioning you used to play piano.
Yeah, I did. To be completely honest, honest, it's been a few years since I've even touched the piano.
I know it's a dumb question, but do you remember any of the song you played back when you did? Any of the songs? Maybe plural songs? Monica thinks to herself for a moment.
There's one song that I kind of remember. It's one I wrote myself, actually.
Monica was already a keeper, but damn, I'm impressed. Before I can vocalize how proud I am, Monica scoots herself over so that she's in front of the computer. She takes a deep breath and closes her eye, just the one, as she rests her fingers.
I think it went a little something like this.
She starts off a little slow, but she's quickly able to start playing confidently. In a way, it's like she never stopped playing. It's quite remarkable, actually. The melody of the piece, whilst simple in concept, carries the piece along nicely. And, much like a cupcake or piece of chocolate, it's infectiously sweet. Hell, I even find myself humming along. How do you hum along to a song you don't know? Eventually, though, she finishes up. She exhales and relaxes her hands, running them down her legs until they remain still on her knees. Suddenly, Monica giggles nervously.
Sorry if I sounded a little rusty.
Rusty? Monica, that was great.
You think so?
I simply nod in response. In fact, I motion for Monica to scoot over. She complies, and I start to load up a project that I have been struggling to get started for a few months. And after hearing Monica, I think I've found the key to making progress. I've had these chords for a little while now, but I've never been able to find a melody that'd, suit. I move away from the computer, gently grabbing hold of the seat of Monica's chair and repositioning her.
You want me to write a melody from scratch?
Monica's initial surprise then breaks, turning into a seeming worry.
I don't know. It's probably going to sound like a complete mess.
Monica. I take Monica's hands in my own, like many times before. She looks towards me, that seeming worry now becoming much more apparent. Look, I know it might feel like a lot to ask, but I know that you're more than capable of doing it.
Even though you've only just seen me play it, I could barely hold a rhythm.
Her rhythm sounded spot on to me. I think about how to respond. It only takes a moment for something to come to mind. I place a hand on her knee. You know how you asked me to try stop being so hard on myself?
Yeah.
Judging by her tone, Monica can already tell what I'm going to say. I want to ask you do the same. Not you to do the same, you do the same. Like, I'm not forcing you to stop. I'm just asking you to try. With that last part, I give Monica's leg a gentle squeeze. She blushes ever so slightly as she looks away. After a brief moment, she focuses back onto me.
I'll try, hun.
Like you said to me, that's all I'm asking. I then remove my hand from her knee, allowing her to make herself comfortable as she composes herself. She starts by looping the chords in order to get a general idea for the flow of the piece. After a bit, Monica looks at the makeshift key scale that I'd placed in the project, presumably to paint an idea of the melody in her head. It doesn't take her long to get started. She plays with one hand, tapping her foot against the ground to keep time. For someone so doubtful of her skills, she's doing great. I mean, that could be my boyfriend bias kicking in, but I doubt it. Once again, she closes her eyes to focus. Her inner instincts guide her fingers as they practically glide across the keys, I guess as opposed to her outer instincts. As with last time, Monica eventually stops and looks back towards me. Unlike last time, though, Monica's confidence shines through her smile.
How was that?
Hun, that was great. I then look at the clock. It's only just gone 12. We've got plenty of time. I smirk at Monica. Say, would you want to keep working on this for a bit? I think I've got a decent idea as to what her answer will be, but it wouldn't hurt to ask.
You know, I'd love to.
Called it. All right, let's get started. We go on for the next few hours, the pair of us becoming more and more engrossed in the project the longer it goes on. What had initially started as a project I could have easily forgotten about for months had begun to take shape into something far more special. It wasn't just my song with her notes, no. It was our song. I got that title reference there. Once ideas had run dry for what to do with the song, Monica and I just decided to relax in my room. We decided to order in some pizza and watch a few movies, mostly just some sappy romance movies and some uber cheesy horror flicks. To be honest, it only ended up serving as more reason to cuddle up with Monica. Mom ended up showing up just past 4 in the afternoon. With the knowledge of where she'd been, made it easy to guess where she was. Naturally, Moni was curious herself. I decided not to tell her about the situation with mine and Natsuki's parents. Besides, Natsuki's most definitely going to interrogate me about it tomorrow anyways. That's certainly going to be fun. I'm pulled out of my little trance by the sound of Monica yawning. Someone sounds sleepy. I smile gently at her.
Honestly, I'm knackered. I should probably start heading home soon.
Monica giggles nervously, presumably a tad bit embarrassed that I'd caught her yawning.
I really enjoyed today.
As did I, hon. I dunno, would you want to do the same next weekend?
I can't do next weekend. I'm visiting my grandparents in Hokkaido then.
The week after?
You bet.
Her smile, yet again, is brimmed with excitement. I'm never gonna tire of that smile, I swear on my life. So, you want to head downstairs?
Yeah.
Monica tries to keep a more positive outward appearance, but the downcast tone in her voice is more than noticeable. Considering her home situation, I can't exactly blame her. I then feel my heart ache at my own realization. We exchange a quick see you tomorrow, as well as a quick goodbye kiss before Moni heads off. I let Mom know I'll be down in a bit, as I'm going to try make a start on tomorrow's poem before dinner. Well, if I can think of anything to write, that is. I wake up in a cold sweat. Damn my overactive imagination, always jumping to the worst possibilities. Monica's fine, she's safe. Monica's fine, she's safe. I repeat that to myself a few times, breathing in and out as I do so. I try to close my eyes to get back to sleep, but to no avail. I get up off my bed to check the time. It's only 1:21 a.m. A drink wouldn't hurt too much, I suppose. I slide my phone into my pajama pocket and head straight for the kitchen. I flick the light on and immediately head for the cupboard. Once I have my glass filled, I sit at the table and start sipping. After a minute or so of just drinking and staring into nothingness, I pull out my phone and start scrolling through the photos I'd taken of me and Moni over the last couple of days. It's still surreal to think we're an item. Compared to her, I resemble a sleep-deprived zombie in at least half of these pictures. To be fair, when do I never look like that? I find myself smiling and sometimes even chuckling at some of the pictures. How does she manage to look so joyful despite everything that's... My burst of joy turns to dread just as quickly. I place my phone on the table and take a few deep breaths. She's fine. You're just overthinking things. I'm just overthinking. Daisuke is not going to lay a finger on her. After a few more breaths, I drape my arms down my sides. I've got to stay strong for her. I pick my phone back up and, this time, scroll through mine and Monica's texts. Sometimes I forget just how long our texting sessions last, regardless of whether we saw each other after school or not. During my scrolling, though, I end up reading the texts regarding Monica's home situation more than anything else. Either I'm starting to realize things I didn't quite understand before, or I'm merely making things seem worse in my head. At this point, I can't even tell anymore. Once more, I put my phone on the table and throw my hands against the sides of my head. This time, my eyes are feeling ever so tingly. Am I crying? I wipe my trembling fingers under my eyes. Sure enough, I am. Fucking hell. My voice is faint and, much like my hands, shaky. My further attempts to keep my breathing steady fall flat. I bury my face in my hands as my breaths become harsh. Please, Monica. Please be okay. Please be okay. Anxiety disorders, man. 2 months later, time skip. Like so many times before, I find myself zoning out during class. Well, less zoning out, more trying not to fall asleep. I don't usually have too much of an issue focusing during history, but I suppose when you've got a substitute who quite obviously couldn't give a damn about the subject, it's kind of hard not to doze off. Thankfully, though, the bell rings and I'm one of the first out of the door. The route to the club room is practically etched into my brain at this point. I just walk through the identical corridors and eventually I'm at the club room. As soon as I'm inside, the usual scene greets me.
Good afternoon, Hallie.
Sayori, bubbly and cheery as ever. She gives me a quick hug. Hey, Sayo. You doing okay?
I am, yeah. You look like you've just woken up, though.
Well,
When does he never look like that? Honestly, does Sayori have to drag your sorry ass out of bed every day?
Natsuki, sassy as always. Things did get a little awkward after we discovered our parents were dating. Hell, if things go further with them, we'll probably end up as step-siblings. Not that it would change anything between us, she'll still roast me to kingdom come. I scrunch my face and smirk. Afternoon to you too, sis. Natsuki grits her teeth, having been caught off guard by my little comment. Sayori just giggles a little bit.
I'm never gonna get used to you calling me that.
Don't worry, I won't either. I speak with a slightly snarky yet jokey tone.
Twat.
I then move towards a desk near the window. As I set my bag on the desk, I hear footsteps approaching me. I turn and, upon realizing who it is, I smile. Hey, Yuri.
Afternoon, Hallie.
After what happened with Monica 2 months back, Yuri and I surprisingly got closer than I'd expected. We had actually found a few more things that we shared in common. In fact, we'd even started reading a book together. Wait, hold up. We'd even starting reading a book together. Whoa. Granted, I was a little slow starting off, but Yuri's been insanely patient with me. There's still some slight moments of awkwardness here and there, considering Yuri's past feelings for me. But I'm fairly certain we'll be able to put that behind us. Did they ever actually establish that Yuri had feelings for you? Because I feel like that was an abandoned plot point. Then the club room door clicks and swings open.
Hey, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Just got caught up in some school council stuff.
Let me guess, for that end-of-year festival the school's planning.
Actually, we were. How would you guys feel about doing another event?
The rest of the club look at Monica curiously, me included. Looks at Monica. It may have been a good while since the festival, but the memories of how badly it went are still in the backs of our mind, our collective mind. Monica sinks into herself a bit.
It's fine if you're not up for it. I just thought I'd suggest it, you know.
We're silent for a moment. Then, to my slight shock, Yuri is the first to speak up.
I suppose I've got an idea for if we did go ahead with it.
Our collective focus then veers towards Yuri. Initially, Yuri seems kind of uneasy about the heightened focus on her, but despite that, she takes in a deep breath and starts talking.
Monica, how would you feel about the club continuing once we've graduated?
A hopeful smile then etches itself on Monica's lips.